For most of the past 3 years, the FBI has tried to portray its top leadership as united behind ex-director James Comey's decision not to pursue criminal charges against Hillary Clinton for transmitting classified information over her insecure private email server. Although in the end, that may be the case, we're now learning that Comey's top lawyer, then FBI General Counsel James Baker, initially believed Clinton deserved to face criminal charges and wanted to charge her, but was talked out of it late in the process. The revelation is contained in testimony Baker gave to House investigators last year. His testimony has not been publicly released, but John Solomon of the Hill was permitted to review a transcript. During questioning by Representative John Ratcliffe of Texas, Baker was unequivocal about his early view that Clinton should face criminal charges. Ratcliffe said, "I have reason to believe that you originally believed it was appropriate to charge Hillary Clinton with regard to violations of law, various laws, with regard to mishandling of classified information. Is that accurate?" Ratcliffe, a former federal prosecutor himself, asked James Baker. Baker paused to gain his lawyer's permission to respond, and then answered yes. He later explained why he came to that conclusion and how his mind was changed. This is what he said. "So I had that belief initially after reviewing, a large binder of her emails that had classified information in them," he said. "And I discussed it internally with a number of different folks, and eventually became persuaded that charging her was not appropriate because we could not establish beyond a reasonable doubt that the government, could not establish beyond a reasonable doubt that she had the intent necessary to violate the law." Asked when he was persuaded to change his mind, Baker said, "Pretty late in the process, because we were arguing about it, I think, up until the end," he said. So basically, Comey probably was one of the guys trying to convince him to not. So he wanted to do it, and they had to continually convince him to not want to charge her. We all know that, again, in the law, this is what it was debated, that the intent is intent needed? Of course not intent. You're just negligent. I mean, you can't just have all this massive amount of top secret information on your own server that's just totally insecure, less secure than an email from Yahoo or Google with top secret government information. I mean, this is no joke. People are belittling us as a little nothing. This is very serious stuff. And to just have that there, whether her intent was, if she seriously, obviously, she can't possibly be that dumb. She was a senator for years. She's in intelligence briefings. She knows what she was doing, that was not appropriate. So, anyways, whether the intent was there or not, it doesn't matter. You can't let that just go. Baker made clear that he did not like the activity of Clinton had engaged in. He said, "My belief after having conducted the investigation and towards the end of it, then sitting down and reading a binder of the materials, I thought that it was alarming, appalling, whatever words I said, and argued with others about why they thought she shouldn't be charged." His boss, James Comey, announced on July 5th, 2016, that he would not recommend criminal charges. He did so without consulting the Department of Justice, a decision the department's Inspector General later concluded was misguided and likely usurped the power of the Attorney General to make prosecutorial decisions. Comey has said, in retrospect, he accepts that finding, but took the actions he did because he thought that they were in the country's best interest. So he took it upon himself. He said he thought that it was just the morally right thing to do, I guess, for the country. Baker acknowledged that during the weeks leading up to the announcement, Comey would throw things out like that to get to people and start talking and think about it and test his conclusions. Baker said that if he had been more convinced that there was evidence that Clinton intended to violate the law, I would have argued that ferociously with him and maybe changed his view. He portrayed his former boss as someone who was open to changing his mind once he heard from his senior staff, even after drafting his announcement statement. I think he would have been receptive to changing his view even after he wrote that thing, Baker said. Baker's account also shed light on revelations I first reported more than a year ago that the original draft of Comey's announcement concluded Clinton had been grossly negligent in handling her top secret classified emails. This is a term in espionage statutes for criminality, but the language later was softened. Republicans have seized on the change as evidence that Comey and the FBI treated Clinton with favoritism. The Inspector General, while criticizing Comey's actions, concluded, however, that there was no political bias involved in the decision, which is really suspect because Peter Strzok was the one who wrote the that whole line about her being extremely careless instead of grossly negligent. That was originally what was described as her actions, and then Peter Strzok is the one who changed grossly negligent to extremely careless. The extreme anti-Trump FBI lawyer who got fired, who wanted Hillary Clinton to win the election. Hello. What Baker's still secret testimony makes clear is that, incredibly, we still don't know the full story on how the Clinton email investigation ended and if anyone else disagreed with the outcome, even after congressional hearings and an Inspector General's review. If there is still the stomach to resolve the lingering questions, then there are likely two candidates to take the lead: the new Attorney General, William Barr, and the new chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Lindsey Graham.